What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel.
All right, let's look at running back and the Auburn Tigers approach there. I'm going to let you just take it away from there because everybody's back.
Everybody's back. I was looking at the video footage on the LSU game today, and I was very impressed with Boobie Whitlow and his ability to run in between the tackles. I was actually surprised because sometimes when you look at a game from, say, a fan perspective, you don't look at the gory details, but I think he's very positioned to have a pretty good season with Auburn, barring any injuries. Even with the injuries, he had 700 yards this year. I feel if not for injuries, he would have kept the streak of 1,000-yard rushers at Auburn going. So Auburn is in pretty good shape when you talk about the running back position. You talk about Cam Martin, who, is a change of pace kind of guy since he's been at Auburn, transferring from Baylor. He's had, pretty much a solid 400 very effective yards per year since he's been there. Shaun Shivers, my goodness, this kid, if he gets into the open field, there's nobody in college football who will catch him. He also serves as a track star for the Auburn Tigers. If you remember the play that probably just gashed the hearts of the Auburn fan base in the Alabama game, when Shaun Shivers left all the Alabama secondary in the dust only to be called back because of a holding penalty, which it was a holding penalty, but either way, a great play by Shaun Shivers. He was very productive last season. Now, here's who the Auburn fan base and media outlets are very big on for the Auburn Tigers. It's actually DJ Williams. DJ Williams was actually recruited by, I think it was Appalachian State. His stock wasn't very high in the recruitment of the 2019 class, but his stock started to become very high in Auburn. I feel they went after DJ Williams because of the Asa Martin transfer. Very good get for the Auburn Tigers, and you will hear his name definitely this fall when you talk about the rotation for the Auburn running backs.
Yeah, so Williams joins them out of Florida, 21st rated running back according to the 247 composite. My question is, so we see the production last year from Whitlow with 150 carries, Martin had 103, and Shivers had 70. What do you expect the distribution to be this year? How do you see that the workload being divvied up in the backfield?
Well, we have to take into account as well. I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that Joey Gatewood will be the quarterback to start for Auburn Tigers. Now, Joey Gatewood is going to get some of those carries as well because he is a documented dual threat quarterback. I think it's going to kind of go somewhat the way it went in 2013, where Trey Mason got the bulk of the carries. Then you have, we'll just say Trey Mason is Boobie Whitlow. All right. And then after that, you start to, get into, I don't know if you remember Corey Grant or not. I think Shaun Shivers will serve the Corey Grant role. I think Cameron Artis-Payne will serve, if we remember Cameron Artis-Payne, I think Cam Martin will kind of play the role that Cameron Artis-Payne played. So, and DJ Williams, of course, will fit in as his momentum will allow him to, because he is a true freshman. And if he just doesn't fit in the role, of course, you can, you can redshirt him. But I think that's kind of how it's going to go. Boobie Whitlow, Cam Martin, Shaun Shivers, and then DJ Williams. It's going to go in that order, kind of like it did in 2013.
Now, looking at the 2013 stats, and it's bringing back the memories. Obviously, that team came within like 8 seconds of winning a national championship, won the SEC. And if you want to look at dominant rushing stats, I don't know outside of Service Academy play that you will ever see against the quality of competition. This team ran through excellent defenses.
Yes.
For 500 yards rushing per game. Trey Mason had 1,800 yards and 23 touchdowns for this team. Nick Marshall, obviously operating out of the quarterback position. You don't see this very often with 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. And you mentioned Cameron Artis-Payne, who became the primary back later after Trey Mason left. 6.7 yards per carry, 610 yards, 6 touchdowns. Just a devastating rushing attack that harkens back to the Nebraska mid-90s teams.
It was unbelievable.
Tommy Frazier.
It was absolutely unbelievable. Now, I don't feel that Joey Gatewood will be asked to do to the extent that of what Nick Marshall was asked to do, because I think Joey Gatewood will have a lot more access to better skilled players at the wide receiver position. You're talking about, Anthony Schwartz, who's one of the fastest human beings in college football as well. You're talking about Seth Williams as well, who is probably going to be the prime receiver in this group. So I think Joey Gatewood will, and plus I think he throws the ball better than Nick Marshall. I mean, that goes without saying. So I don't think that Joey Gatewood will be asked to run 1,000 yards. Now, if it winds up happening, great. But I think his skill set goes beyond being just a 1,000-yard rusher that is shaky throwing the football.
That team ran for 296 yards against Alabama. They ran for 545 yards in the SEC championship game against two NFL defensive ends.
It was staggering. As a matter of fact, I had a chance to look at the SEC championship game from 2013 recently, and just kind of looking at Gus Malzahn's blocking schemes and how he actually runs that offense. People try to say that, Gus Malzahn runs a high school offense, but a high school offense does not produce at the level as what we saw during that particular time when Gus Malzahn is calling plays. Even in 2014 with staggering results. You go back to 2010, staggering results as well. So that leads me to believe that Auburn will be, at bare minimum, successful in 2019 because of the weapons that Gus Malzahn has at his disposal, which I think are a little bit more talented than what he had during that time.